Xi Jinping has a lot of titles. The chairman of everything, the people's leader. There's even Xi Dada, which basically means Uncle Xi or Big Xi in Chinese. But he's not done with this. He's now chasing a new title for himself, the champion of the global south. That's how India has been positioning itself, but now Xi Jinping wants the title and he's being quite brazen about it. Xi has a visitor, the leader of Sierra Leone. He's in Beijing. And Xi Jinping rarely meets any foreign dignitaries, but this time he's made an exception. The Chinese president met with this leader and gave an assurance.
China will work with African countries to strengthen mutual support and friendly cooperation, jointly tackle risks and challenges, further integrate the development of China, Africa, and the world.
China and Africa should work together. That's the message from Xi Jinping. How does he plan to do that, though? During this address, he spoke about the United Nations and how China can work in coordination with African nations like Sierra Leone, at forums like the United Nations Security Council, where China happens to be a permanent member. So Xi Jinping is basically dangling a carrot. Stick with China and you'll be rewarded. That's the message from the Chinese president. And it is meant for the global south countries. Xi Jinping's diplomats are also pushing this narrative. Consider some recent statements. China respects all countries as equals. Sure it does. China is naturally a member of the global south. This is from a press conference in January. But why the sudden focus and pivot? How did the global south become a priority for China? Because Xi Jinping sees it as his turf. And his messaging is not just about cooperation, it also includes criticism of Western institutions.
Ideological confrontation, geopolitical rivalry, and bloc politics are not a choice for us. What we stand against are unilateral sanctions, economic coercion, and decoupling and supply chain disruption.
It's a carefully crafted pitch, also carefully copied, a pleasurized pitch, if you will. India raised these issues much before China paid any attention to them. Last year, India organized 2 summits for the global south. It highlighted the growing inequalities and the need to reform the multilateral system. At the G20, India pushed for the induction of the African Union, giving an important bloc representation and a seat at the global high table. So India is a clear champion for the global south. Now China wants to gate crash because the messaging is effective. And while China's pitch may sound similar to India's, the execution is remarkably different, not to mention the end goals. India wants to reform existing institutions, improve the representation of the global south countries at multilateral forums. China, on the other hand, seeks a completely new system, a system that Beijing can control. For every established institution in the West or Western-led institution, China is pitching an alternative system. For the United Nations, Beijing has the SCO, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. For the World Bank, it has the Belt and Road. To replace the World Trade Organization or WTO, China advocates the RCEP, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. All these groups have many member countries. The SCO, the BRI, the RCEP, they have many members. But China has a special status within them, sort of like a super vote. There is concentration of power in the hands of one player, and while Western-led institutions are in urgent need of reform, they're hardly perfect. This Chinese alternative is not the answer to them. The global south realizes this. A China-led world order will be fraught with risks. And that's the end goal of Xi Jinping's new campaign. His pitch for the global south is basically his pitch for more power for himself and for China. And the world, both the global north and the global south, should be wary of it.